welcome to the Finance Burrito, a weekly podcast organized by the Finance and Investment Cell of Shahid Bhagat Singh Evening College. Today, I, Pratham Agarwal, am your host, and today we have with us someone who's very interested in the field of finance and stock markets in particular. And today, he's a personal finance coach at a very young age who runs his own school. So please welcome one and only Mr. Sharad Kapoor, the founder of Kapoor School of Personal Finance. Hello Sharad, we're glad to have you here over this call.
Thank you. So a little bit about my background. I'm Sharad Kapoor. I'm the founder of the Kapoor School of Personal Finance. I am a graduate of Christ University. I've actually been addressing student audiences on personal finance and investing since 2015, since I was still a student, when I was still a student at Christ. I've been doing so for corporate audiences since 2019. What I find is there's a large gap in the education system in this country. We seem to do a very good job at teaching people how to be good participants in the national economy, how to be good employers, how to be good employees to whoever hires them. But two things that we do not teach is entrepreneurship, and the other is financial literacy. And I think our economy is a lot less dynamic than it can possibly be, and a lot less efficient because we don't teach these two subjects in school and college.
Sharad, what made you a personal finance coach at a very young age? Like, as we say, people like us want to have a career in a corporate world, or people like us aspire to be a chartered accountant or a CFA. But in your case, what has been that backstory that inspired you to be a personal finance coach at this very young age?
If I was to give you a short answer, what inspired me to be a financial coach is the glaring lack of financial education in India. All right. Now, the Kapoor School of Personal Finance has a particular course, which is a 12-hour course. It's for groups. Of course, I do individual one-on-one coaching also. We also do group coaching for group classes. And these group classes, now for my individual clients, it's either a guided path or it's a self-directed path. I have an exhaustive list of curriculum topics on my website. By the way, my website is kapoorfinance.com. If any of you want to visit it, kapoorfinance.com. So I have an exhaustive list of topics. Individual clients can select which topics they want. The guided path is generally beginner, intermediate, and advanced, wherein I select the topics and I teach my individual clients those topics. Now, for the group classes, there's a very popular course which is called Introduction to Personal Finance and Investing, which deals with what asset classes are available for investors out there. Why would someone pick equity over debt? Why would someone pick gold over equity? Why would someone pick real estate over equity? So all of these basic financial concepts are put in that course, Introduction to Personal Finance and Money Management. Basically, all this, the kind of things that you should have learned in school. How much do you save? How much do you budget? What are your retirement saving options? What are your intermediate short-term saving options, long-term saving options? What are the best asset classes to build wealth? What are the risk and return characteristics of those asset classes? How do you save tax, etc., etc. Now, what inspired me to construct courses like this is because we don't teach our students this in college. And the reason I go to corporate organizations and teach them also is because people who are earning money, people who are earning high sums of money, people who are working very, very hard are unfortunately doing the wrong things with that money. And they get stuck on this perpetual cycle of income expenses. There seems to be absolutely no surplus. So now in 2015, when I was in my second year of college, we had something called activity hours in our department, wherein the seniors would go to the junior classes, and the thinking went like, okay, all week long you're listening to teachers who are much, much older than you. At least for 1 hour a week, or at least for 2 hours a week, listen to your seniors. You might listen more to them and you might relate better to them. So I was asked by our coordinator to handle a couple of activity sessions. Now I was like, okay, what the hell am I going to tell juniors? All right, I was not at all a I was not at all a model student. I was not at all a model student in college. In fact, I lost 1 year of college because of attendance issues. I was detained because I had low attendance. So, and I kept on getting into trouble with teachers, etc. So I'm not really a model. I was like, what am I going to go talk to them about? So then I said, okay, let me go talk to them about personal finance and investing, because that's all I know. Now, I was initially nervous about doing that because I was like, okay, I'm going to go talk to a bunch of 19-year-olds or 20-year-olds, some of them 18 years old. I'm going to go talk to a bunch of 19-year-olds just like me. Are they going to even be interested in what I teach? I mean, I'm going to be talking to them about stocks, mutual funds, gold, real estate, saving, budgeting, tax saving. Why are they even going to be listening to me? Well, I was very, very wrong. I was extremely wrong, because when these sessions took off, I got a lot of positive feedback, because these guys had not listened to this kind of stuff by anyone. They had not been taught this. Obviously, we have no financial education in our curriculum in either school or college in India. So they were listening to something that they had not heard before in a classroom, and many of them had not heard about this from their parents either. And if you ask them, why have you not heard about this stuff from their parents, they will tell you that in many Indian households, if you ask your parents about money matters, they will tell you to shut up and go focus on your studies. And this is very, very prevalent in middle class Indian households, because they say it's none of your business. Don't worry about all this. Don't ask. Let's say I'm your father and you come and ask me. I'll say, what the hell are you talking about, man? Just go study. I mean, why are you asking me about my savings and my investments, etc.? When I die, you will get it. Until then, go study and you get a good job and you earn your own income. Earn your own income and do what? You're not telling me anything about what you do with money. You don't allow me to discuss money. I'm going to earn a high income and do what with that money? Spend it, because that's the only thing I know. I don't know anything about investments, do I? So what do I do with my money? I invest. I just go and spend it. Everyone around me is spending it, so I spend it. So people at home, they don't get this kind of education. They don't get this education in school, in college. So there was a lot of positive response to my sessions. So so that was when 2015 was when I started addressing student audiences. In 2018, I was called by Christ University to teach as a visiting faculty. So I taught them, I taught the BCom IF students, the first years and the second years, their CFA syllabus, their CFA investment foundations, and their CFA level 1 syllabus, which was the starter financial analyst syllabus. So that was there. And then for the other courses, financial derivatives, etc. And also, what I also did was I had my own personal finance and investing curriculum, which I wanted to do for I wanted to at least go to all 34 sections of the department and do at least 1 or 2 hours with them. Of course, I had a lot more time with some sections. I had a lot less time with some sections. It was all dependent on their availability. Some classes really got a lot of me, so I could do a lot of personal finance and investing content with them. But my goal was at least do every class, at least every section, every class, do at least 1 or 2 hours, so that you can at least introduce them to personal finance, so that even if I am not available for them, if their availability is not so much that I can't go to their class, at least giving them 1 or 2 hours of it can really start them on their own journey. So I was called back as a visiting faculty in 2018. That ended in 2020. So for 2 years, I was a visiting faculty at Christ. Various finance topics, various financial related topics I used to teach over there. And of course, I had my own personal finance investing curriculum, which I used to do with the classes. And there was a good, very, very good response. And in my last year of teaching over there, that was 2019 to 2020, I had a certificate course called Introduction to Investing, which was exclusively for the non-finance students. So my department was excluded. All the other departments, of course, Department of Commerce and all, even they could come, but except for the department I was teaching, all other departments were invited to subscribe to this certificate course called Introduction to Investing. Now that course was also very popular. It was actually the course that was fastest filled. So this got filled up the fastest in both semesters, in the first and the second semester. So there was a good response. Now, what I thought was, why don't I also do this for earning individuals? Now, students are one, Why don't I also do this for the broader general public? And that was what gave birth to the Kapoor School of Personal Finance. And that is where I am right now. So student audiences are still an audience. Student audiences are still an audience, definitely. But I do focus more on corporate individuals and other earning individuals because I find that they really need the education the most. So student audiences are a target, and earning individuals, grown-up adult earning individuals are also a target. Basically, I hope I can make a difference by spreading financial literacy so that people have a healthier relationship with their money. People know what to do with their money. People manage their own money, or even if they go to another person to manage it for them, even if they go to a financial advisor to manage their money for them, at least they will know what exactly that financial advisor is doing. It won't be all Greek and Latin to them. They cannot be taken advantage of because they already know what you're talking about. They already know what you're doing with their money. So even though somebody else might be handling my money, I at least know what he's doing. I at least can understand what he talks. He can't talk some technical gibberish with me and try to mislead me, etc., etc. Right? So that is what the vision and the mission of the Kapoor School of Personal Finance is. I also have an Instagram page called crorepati.guru. Right? So crorepati.guru gives out bite-sized finance content almost every day. I'll just show it to you on the screen. So this is the I hope you can see it on the screen. This is the thing, crorepati.guru. All right. So bite-sized finance content almost every day. Sometimes videos, sometimes reels. Reels, I don't think. Sometimes videos, sometimes IGTV videos. And well, this is a part. This is a part of it. I give out finance content on Instagram also. And I plan to start a YouTube channel, but that's been a delayed plan for a very long time. But that is definitely coming up. So there you go. That is it. Apart from that, on my website, kapoorfinance.com, there's a tab called Publications where I write articles. I write articles on finance related topics, personal finance related topics, investing related topics. So any of you who are interested, kapoorfinance.com, go to the menu, Publications. There are a list of my articles that I've published, that I've written on finance related topics, which I hope you can enjoy. So that's about it. I've come to the end of my lecture. Basically, what do you take away from this? I've spoken a lot about what people do. What should you do? You should stop worrying about societal expectations. You should stop worrying about showing society that you are successful. And you should try your best to keep your expenses at the level of a 21-year-old, even when you're 30 or 35. And every single salary increase you get, just take it as a 15-year exercise. Okay, now look, all of us are probably going to live beyond 100. Given the medical technology and the progress, etc., we're all going to have a very, very long life. Hopefully, touch wood. Just for 10, 15, okay, just 15 to 20 years. Okay, 15 years to 20 years. Keep your expenses at the level of a 21-year-old as far as possible. And every single income bump that you get, every single salary increase that you get, invest it, invest with a missionary zeal. By the time you're 45, then start living the life. And I know many 45-year-olds, they're just as energetic. Take care of your health, eat the right thing, exercise, don't eat junk, don't smoke, don't drink too much. And by 45, you will still have the exact same energy to enjoy your money as you did when you were 20. But what is the difference over here? You will have a far, far, far higher level of wealth.
As you know that peer pressure is something that is being talked about very widely these days. Like, what is peer pressure and how does it affect someone's decision-making abilities? So now, you being a personal finance coach, how would you like to describe peer pressure and its effects on personal finances?
If you really look at the reasons as to why people fail financially, as to why people get stuck on this treadmill of income expenses, is because they spend a lot of their income on goods that they want to possess in order to prove something to society. So I'll get into that in just a minute. Now, what you need to understand is that high income individuals are not necessarily high net worth individuals. you have a lot of people who have a very high income, but because of something called lifestyle inflation, they do not ever get the chance, or they do not ever give themselves the chance to be high net worth. Now, lifestyle inflation is a term that is used to describe the tendency for a person to keep upgrading his lifestyle as and when, and immediately as and when, or sometimes even before he gets a raise in income. So when a person expects his income to go up, or when a person's income has already gone up, he automatically starts thinking about getting a bigger house, getting a bigger car, moving into a more expensive neighborhood, upgrading his phone, getting the latest model of whatever high-end phone is there, upgrading his television set, buying more stuff, subscribing to expensive country club memberships, stuff like that, traveling to more expensive locations. So this is sometimes done when a person's income increases. And in a credit-driven society like the United States of America, and even how India is becoming now, this sort of upgrade sometimes happens even before the person's income is increased, because when they expect their income to increase, they have no problem taking on EMIs and taking on personal loans and taking on car loans, etc., to upgrade their lifestyle. Now, this might look like the natural progression of things. To an outside observer, or to a person who's not very familiar with the principles of personal finance, this might appear to be a very natural progression, which is that a person's income goes up and his lifestyle goes up. I mean, if I was to talk to a layman about this, he would look at me in disbelief, and he would say, "Why are you even telling me this? I mean, this is a very natural progression. This is something that is a given. I mean, your income goes up, so your car becomes bigger. Your income goes up, so your house becomes bigger. Your income goes up, so instead of going to Goa, you go to some other exotic location. You know, you go to a more expensive location. You go abroad. You stay in a better hotel, etc." But this is not how it should work if you want to really accumulate wealth. Because you accumulate wealth not necessarily by earning a high income. You accumulate wealth by doing the right things with that income. And you accumulate wealth by investing all that high income, investing that income into the right investments. Now, I'm not an investment advisor. I'm not a wealth planner. So I'm not here to give advice on what to invest in. I don't do that. Neither am I allowed to do that. Neither is anyone allowed to do that unless they have a SEBI registration. But what I am saying is that when you get yourself financially educated, or you go to someone who is a SEBI registered fee-only financial advisor, and you start investing your income into the right suitable investments, that is how you gain real wealth, because you take advantage of compound interest, you take advantage of time in the market, all right? You take advantage of your compounding of your investments, and that is how you gain real wealth. That is how you become a high net worth individual, because you invest, your income goes up, you start saving up more, start investing more, and that is how you start accumulating and really snowball into a real level of high wealth. Now, the peer pressure part comes in because let's say you're a part of an organization. Let's say you graduate from your college, you get placed via your placement cell or via any external source. Now, you and, let's say for simplicity purposes, you and your peer group, your classmates, all right, have all got into this company, this big company, and you'll all start off on a 30,000 rupee salary per month. So with that 30,000 rupee salary, okay, your percentage savings might not be capable of being very high because you've got expenses, etc. So when you're in a 30,000 rupee salary, you might be very frugal, which you should be. And your other peers also might be very frugal. You might ride the metro, you might ride the bus, or okay, even if you have your personal vehicle, you might be riding a scooter or a bike at most. All right, and you don't have any qualms about going to the smallest of restaurants and eating, or you don't even have any qualms about bringing food home, cooking food home, having night outs at your own place, etc. Nobody has a problem at that age sitting on the floor on a mattress, having a good time, etc., etc. The problem is when all of you start progressing in your career. Okay, so you're 22 years old when you graduate college, when you're 25, 26, you probably get your first promotion, and thereby you get your first real salary bump, right? Then what happens is you see your peer group going out there and buying a new car. They cannot possibly afford to buy a new car. Most people cannot afford to buy a new car when they get their first promotion or when they're 26 or 27 years old. But because of the wonderful credit-driven society, and I'm being sarcastic over here, because of the wonderful credit-driven society that we live in, you can nowadays get a car loan that covers 100% of the ex-showroom cost. All right. So they go out there and buy a new car, and they go out there and buy a car that is often a lot more than they can afford. They go out there and upgrade their phones. They start taking vacations to destinations that you all wouldn't have thought about a few years back, or even 1 or 2 years back. So by looking at your peer group, now remember that you're of the same age group. You all came out of college together. You all started off the same. You all hang out together. You all spend time together. All right. You seem to think that you need to keep up with them. Now, even though they probably know how much you're earning, even though they probably know for a fact that you're at the same level as them, they got promoted. Yeah, even you got promoted, right? You're at the same job designation as them. You have as much status in the organization as them. But you seem to somehow think that you need to keep up with their appearances also. Therefore, you start going out on holidays with them to the same exotic destinations that they decide to go into. You decide that, look, I can't ride the metro or the bus anymore. I have to have a car also. So you take on a car also. And you seem to think that you can't go to the small restaurants that you used to go to. Now you need to go to the high street restaurant. You need to start dressing yourself up in high street clothing. All right. Then what happens is when you all become 30 or 35 years of age, you guys have reached a significantly higher position in the organization. So a Honda City or a Hyundai Verna would probably not be enough for you. Your peer group would be going out there and taking the same car loans to buy BMWs. So you think that that's the right thing for you to do, and you're actually forced to do it because you don't want to be looked at as inferior to your peer group. So what do? You go out there and also buy one of those foreign luxury motor vehicles, which cost about 30, 45 lakhs, etc. So I think you know where I'm getting over here. You just keep progressing on this treadmill of credit, debt, higher income, higher debt, higher credit. All right. And you keep upgrading your lifestyle. Now, many people might say that this is the kind of lifestyle I want. If this is the kind of lifestyle you want, if you want to consume almost all of your income, you want to get on this perpetual credit cycle and perpetual debt cycle, by all means, please do so. Everyone has different agendas in life. Everyone derives satisfaction from different things. But if you decide to get on this treadmill, do not expect to build real wealth. You cannot have your cake and eat it too. You cannot invest your income and spend it at the same time. So if you want to be a little different, all right, try this path. You enter the organization with your peer group, with your friends, with your college mates, all right? And as you see them upgrading their lifestyle, they start buying new cars, they start moving into larger homes, they start going on vacations to more exotic places. Try your best, at least for the first 10 years of your career, at least for the first 15 years of your career, try to maintain as much as possible the same lifestyle that you lead when you're 22. Now,
well, as you know that the concept of personal finance was originated from the United States, and currently it is being developed in a country like India. So, given that India's economy has been progressing, like India's economy is becoming dynamic as more than before. So, how would you differentiate the concept of personal finances in the United States with that of India?
Whether you talk about Western society or whether you talk about Eastern society, this pressure to show the world that you have arrived is huge. Your parents also might pressurize you as to why the hell are you driving that same old car that we gave you to drive in college? That's a 15-year-old car. Please, sell it and junk it and buy a new one. I want to tell people how successful you become. Please stop wearing these basic clothes and start wearing some really, really fancy clothes. Or start going out to these high-end places. Start showing people that you've really arrived. Put it up on Facebook and put it up on Instagram that you're going to these really, really expensive places and you're really living your life up. Your own parents might tell you to do these things, all right? But don't. Because keeping up appearances and making yourself look rich. Now, you might want to underline, whoever is listening to this might want to underline this point. Making yourself look rich and making yourself look successful is often the single biggest obstacle to actually becoming rich and actually becoming successful. I'll repeat that one more time and I'll explain it. Doing things that make you look rich, doing things that make you look successful, often are the biggest obstacles to actually becoming rich and actually becoming successful. Because you cannot possibly save enough amount of money to become financially independent. You cannot possibly invest an adequate amount of money to become financially independent. If you want to buy the newest phone every few months, if you want to buy the newest car every few years, if you want to keep going to exotic locations on travel, etc., you might see a lot of posts on Instagram saying travel is the best use of your money. Don't wait until you're old. Don't wait till you travel. Travel is the best experience of them all. You can travel to another state. If you live in Karnataka, where I live, there are several places in Tamil Nadu. There are several places in Kerala. All right, a little further, there are several places like Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand, which are just as beautiful. But why do you not want to go there? Why do you not want to go to Himachal Pradesh? Why do you want to go to the Alps in Switzerland? It's because you want to show people, look, I can afford to go there. I'm living up the life. I'm earning a good amount of money. What they don't know is that you're hardly investing anything at all. And what they don't know, and what you don't know about most people who live that kind of lifestyle at the age of 25 or 28, is that the level of their investment account balances is pretty low. Almost certainly pretty low. Because there is no way you can keep up with that lifestyle and invest adequately.
Okay, for someone who's into his college life and has currently entered into final year of his college life, yet it becomes his responsibility to manage his personal finances. Like after college, he'll get a job either through placements or through an external source, or he would get an internship of his own choice, either through a placement cell or through any external source. So how would you advise him regarding the management of his personal finances?
Of course, when you're 22, you probably have a lot of roommates. You're probably all bunched together in a 1 BHK flat or a 1 studio apartment, etc. That's all right. You don't have to go on living like that. It is understandable that you might get married, you might move in with your living partner, etc. So you might have to move out. All right. But try for the first 10 years or for the first 15 years of your career, try to avoid shows of status. Try to only upgrade your lifestyle when it is absolutely necessary. And when I mean it's absolutely necessary, let's say you move in with a live-in partner, so you can't have roommates anymore. So obviously your rent will go up. All right. But try to continue riding the metro. Try to continue having a small car. All right. The same car that you were driving when you were getting out of college. Try not to visit more exotic destinations. Try to visit your own country. If you're an Indian, you are a part of a country that has the 7th largest landmass in the world. We're the 7th largest country in the world. Every nook and corner of this country has a different culture. We have mountains, we have hilly regions, we have desert regions, we have every possible region that we have beaches, East Coast, West Coast. We have the Andaman Islands, which is a totally different island altogether. You have everything. As far as travel is concerned, we have everything in this country, right? So try to keep your travels within India. Try to drive the same vehicle that you were driving when you were 21 or 22. Try your best to keep your housing expenses down. Try not to wear branded clothes. Try to just wear well-fitting, tailored clothes. Try not to buy expensive watches and expensive iPhone, etc. Just try for 10 years. I'm not asking you to do for your entire lives, all right? For 10, 15 years, try to keep your expenses as much as possible at the same level as it was when you were 21 or 22. And as and when you get increases in income, as and when you get salary bumps, try to keep your expenses as much as possible as it was when you were 21 or 22, and invest all the remaining salary increases and all the remaining income increases in a diversified basket of financial investments. If you do this in 10 or 15 years, we call it delayed gratification. If you do this in 10 or 15 years, you're going to be far, 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 far ahead of your peer group, and they wouldn't even notice it until someone realizes that that guy is so wealthy. His net worth is probably 10 to 15x what our net worth is. Granted, he hasn't shown off all this time. We all thought as to why this guy still drives the same car that he used to drive in college. We all wondered why this guy isn't coming with us on our foreign trips. We all wondered why this guy isn't coming out to drink with us at the most expensive pub in the most expensive restaurant every Saturday night in town. But in 10, 15 years, the amount of net worth you will have will enable you to have something called FU money. You might have heard this term. FU money is basically, I can do what I want with life. I can do what I want in life. I'm financially independent. I don't have to answer to anyone. I can literally quit my job tomorrow and I'll still be all right. Okay, now that level of wealth is only possible if you, for at least 15 years, or at least let's 10, maybe 20 years also, 15 to 20 years, if you consistently keep your expenses as low as possible. And
all of us dream of having that lifestyle, like creating a large wealth for your family and for yourself, and having that nice family to live together happily. But as everyone showcases their lifestyle on social media, I feel like the reality is a bit far stretched when it comes to finances, like managing your own personal finances. So, how much do you agree with this statement?
People are not as rich as they look. A lot of people who show off are not really as rich as they look. And if you want to read a structured research study on this, read the book The Millionaire Next Door. These two authors have studied millionaires in America for over 20 years, and they say the exact same thing that I'm telling you about. Actually, I'm borrowing a lot of their words. People who live up to real life, they're not really wealthy. They are something they call UAWs, under accumulators of wealth. Because if you look at their age and if you look at their income, and if you sit down and ask them, you've been earning so much for the past 10, 15, 20 years, where is it? Where is all the money? Where's all the money gone? They will tell you, what do you mean? We're not rich people. How can we be rich? Look at our income. Fine, $700,000 a year. All right, $700,000 a year. But our income comes to $692,000 a year. And why does it come to $692,000 a year? Well, we have country club memberships. We have to buy expensive. We have to pay our EMIs on expensive cars. How many cars do we have? We're a family of 2. We have 4 cars. Why do you have 4 cars? Well, our neighbors have 4 cars. We have to have 4 cars also. We go out on vacation with our neighbors and our friends. Where do we go? We go to all kinds of exotic locations. Do you know how expensive those things are? What are you talking about savings and investment? There is no money to save and invest. I have heard people who earn 42 lakhs a year in India saying we don't have money to invest. And at the same time, I also know people who are earning 4 lakhs a year and 5 lakhs a year and who save a very, very appreciable amount of their money. It doesn't take too much of guessing to know who's going to be better off in 10, 15 years.
Okay, so with this, we come to an end of this session. Thanks a lot, Sharad, for joining over this call. I hope through your words, everyone will be aware of the concept of personal finances and how can someone manage his or her personal finances. Thank you so much, Sharad.